Hey everyone, welcome back to the Made Men podcast. This is your host and co-host, Adam Carroll. Adam, how are we?
Too bad now, Dave. How are you keeping?
Oh, you know yourself now, chilling, tipping away.
Chilling. That's good. No, it's been a while since we did our last one, but how long has it been? About 3 weeks?
Yeah,
Four
like,
weeks?
like no, it wasn't that long. I think maybe
Three, I think.
two to 3 weeks or something. But quality over quantity, as they say.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I suppose.
we only wanted to put one up when we knew that there was something relevant and valuable to talk about.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think as well we were both like under savage pressure with, well, not savage pressure, but like work with like college, and you would you know, the business of
School.
yeah, I was about to say it after to piss you off, but I said I wouldn't. But yeah, no, suppose we were both kind of, yeah, things were going on in our own lives, so
Yeah, yeah.
here we are
Which
now.
is, normal.
Yeah, so we're back now today with a very interesting topic, I think.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's a good one. So the topic of discussion will be success, goal setting. What is your idea of success to you, and how will you kind of set out your goals, and what's your aspirations, etc. And the reason being behind this is I think a lot of people might secretly have goals. Or like I'd say there's three types of people. There's someone who is very open about goals, there's someone who has goals who doesn't really talk about it at all, and there's someone who doesn't have any kind of goals or aspirations. And I think that it's a very, very tiny minority of people that we know in Ireland or in Cork especially, that are quite vocal about their goals.
Absolutely.
People don't really speak about it. So I think it's a good thing to kind of have it as just a normal conversation, that like, yeah, you have a plan or you want to do XYZ with your life and over the next, whether it's 6 months, 6 years, or 60 years, who knows. So I just want to kind of get that conversation going and have like people who are listening, like probably 90% of the people listening either don't talk about their goals openly enough, or they don't have any at all, and this might get them thinking or get them more comfortable around the whole kind of
Yeah.
topic of dreaming big or whatever. So Adam, why don't you kind of set the scene for where you are right now,
Yeah.
how you are happy with kind of how you've come to this scenario over the last few months or years, and what is kind of the next step in your head? What are the kind of goals or milestones that you want to hit in your life over the next, whether it's few months or few years?
Yeah. So for me, I think see, before I get into this as well, I'm not like I just like to say, like, I'm not saying I'm fucking perfect and shit, like, but it is something like people don't talk about. And I don't think we're coming off as narcissistic to speak about these things. I feel like it should be something more spoken about in like your friend group and that, like, because I know it's cool to say like, kind of a way,
We'll see. Oh, yeah, like we see how it goes, or like
Yeah,
that kind of
yeah.
a
I,
mindset,
I
like
I know you kind of have to have a bit of that as well, like, because nothing will ever like.
go to tea, like
Yeah,
to
exactly.
yeah.
Not exactly. So I think for me, coming up to right around kind of sixth year in school, like that's why I didn't really try that hard in secondary school. Now it's the fact that I didn't really know what I fucking wanted. Like, do you know what I mean? I kind of knew I wanted to do like. I never really saw myself working as like in an office job and something down those lines. Like
Imagine you in an office.
stop. I would probably crack up. Like, I'm just not one of those kind of people to be like in an office or that kind of environment. Like, but I could see like a load of my very good friends like going down that route and them really excelling in it. But for me, I didn't really have an interest in a lot of things, or like kind of the gym and sport and stuff growing up. So I says, right, I'll do closest thing to that. I said, well, I'll do sports science because I looked into it. And I saw like, you can literally do anything you want in the sports field. Like, you know what I mean? Whether you want to tap out in second year and become a PT or something like that, or go the whole way and become like a sports psychologist, sports physiotherapist, or exercise physiologist. And that's kind of once I hit first year college, that's when I was like, right, I have 4 years this and I know it'll fly, so I better like put my like, you know, my fucking what I want.
Put in a shift, like.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You know what I mean. I want to stick it into third. um, but yeah, so I said I'd like I just, you know, as I told you, like this year now, like for me, it's been a big change, like in how I kind of think and look at things. So I just started like looking at like even coming up to like December of this year, I didn't really know what I fucking like what I really wanted. Like I was kind of thinking, ah, yeah, just do my course and see what comes of it. But no, I think the more I look at things, kind of I want to kind of go down like the sports physiotherapy route, or you know, that might change again in another year or two. But as of this moment stands, like that's a goal of mine now, career wise anyway. Kind of um maybe go down that way, and as time goes on.
Have your own business,
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
go
Yeah, no.
into like just someone, a team,
So
or get
I
in a
was
professional club or whatever.
I think that would be a huge goal of mine, would be getting into like a huge club. You know what I mean? Like not in Ireland now, like maybe abroad, whether that's football in
Premier
England or
League
yeah, maybe American football. You know, one of those teams. I think that would be an unreal
or
lifestyle.
college in the
Yeah,
States.
bingo. Yeah, yeah, that'd be unreal. I think something like that, or and then eventually maybe open up my own. You know, kind of think like, you know, clinics and rehab places. Like that would be something of mine, and property is something
It's
as well
going
I'd
to
like to get into.
we will touch on property
Yeah,
now in a
yeah,
second, because that's a
yeah.
big thing with you,
Yeah.
especially. But touch more there on the clinics, like in your head now, because I think you briefly talked about this before with me,
Yeah.
or maybe I'm adding it together in my head before
Yeah.
you're even adding it in your head. But I think you're thinking of a clinic in a slightly different way to the norm. Um,
Yeah, I suppose. See, there's a couple of ways I'm kind of looking at it. 'Cause it's just rough ideas now, and it's just words didn't like
yeah, yeah,
to say. But I'd like to do more kind of, you know, what they have down in people who are living in, I suppose most people know anyway. You know, down in Bishop's doing that, like the recovery kind of labs. I think that'd be something like a real big market there that could be worked on in, you know, kind of, you know, like
yeah.
cryotherapy and like again like
Have like a
physiotherapy.
massive athlete recovery center,
Yes,
like.
absolutely. And like, I'd love like, you know, one day like a lot of my buddies always say to me, well, two of them actually, did it like to open a gym and that, and I'd love to have it like the, you know, like the American style, like or Canada, you know, the way you'd have your courts and your actually the gym like
It's
all
yeah,
in the one
it's a
area.
sports center, even not
Yeah,
even just a gym. Yeah,
and I think I'd love to do that now. Maybe one day down, you know, down the future. So like open something like that. You know what I mean? Like where like literally everything to do with sports is just in that facility, kind of a thing. You know, it'll cost a fucking shit ton of money. We all know it will, but like
here
it's something to work towards. You know what I mean?
it's baby steps that get you there,
Exactly. Yeah.
and
Exactly.
it's the snowball effect as well.
Yeah.
Like things compound. So like you throw a couple $100,000 in the right direction, and it compounds to a couple million, and that
Yeah.
compounds, and
Absolutely.
then all of a sudden you can do these things quite easily. Um,
Absolutely. So that would be
so
a
yeah.
main one for me anyway. The like down the career wise things. On a on another way, I suppose. Like kind of goals I do have would be to own a lot of like property. It's something I always had an interest in because of my mom and stuff. Like
Hmm.
it's something that's like a big part of like what my mom has taught me growing up. You know what I mean, about like how kind of if the right place kind of comes around, like like how much it can help you financially. Like getting a property and say now renting it out instead of like just flipping it and selling it, like getting a place and renting it out, like that income can relieve so much stress in a family household, like say now if a parent can't do a 5 day week or something, maybe break that into a part-time job and then being still financially stable to the fact that
Hmm.
like you have a property there that's going to make you an income, which takes, you know what I mean, makes like takes so much pressure off of a family, you know. You know, and just seeing how my mom did that, and with a place that we have, you know, it's I think it's just such a great idea. And imagine doing that by like sitting, so having one property, have it like 5, 6, 7 places. You know what I
Different
mean?
countries.
Exactly. And yeah, that's another thing as well. I'd love to, you know, like I don't know if I want to live in Ireland my whole life, but I definitely want a place in Cork. Like, but I'd love to, you know what I mean, to just not having I suppose a roof on things, like just being able to go abroad when you
freely
want.
move.
You know what I mean? And like exactly, you know what I mean? Like you showing me play like when you were in Canada and stuff, and you're just thinking, imagine just having a place out there, just going there for a few months and going to Spain and Portugal, any nice place, and just having a villa there. You know what I mean? I think, and
Yeah.
it's definitely achievable. Of even like the modern class kind of. Um, like you know what I mean, like the working class kind of family. Like I know it's like a big thing there in the early mid 2000s there of like families like buying a house in Spain or Portugal, but like it's if you're able to do that, like I would want to do like
You don't need to be a millionaire to do it.
yeah, exactly, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, thank you. But they're like little small goals, like, well, not little goals, but like they're kind of brief kind of goals of mine that I want. And then like obviously you've other goals, and like it's just like finishing your degree and maybe going for a master's and something at some stage down the line. And whether that's with like the gym goals and shit, like you have to have goals
Well,
in life.
why are you thinking of a master's?
Oh, I'm kind of more thinking about it more now. Once I finish my degree, I think I would like to go down a, some route there for a master's degree in something. I think
Why?
why? I think I think when you get to that extra level, you kind of it separates you from the rest of the crowd in when it comes to a job and that, you know what I mean. And especially if you want to go into such a specific area, like yeah, okay, everyone might have the same degree as me, but by having the masters behind you, you know what I mean, you're kind of more more kind of specific, kind of suited to a role. Like, so I don't know.
Or you've just more you've gone into things into a greater depth, and you've more kind of time spent on it. So maybe it
Yeah,
comes
yeah,
out like where you're look better on paper.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yes, yeah. So that's
yeah, and I think as well, like with your degree being science orientated,
yeah,
like at the end, like still sadly, a degree is relevant in your type of field. So a
yeah.
master's obviously is going to be
It'll
relevant
enhance it.
too,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it'll enhance. So like, it's not like you're touching in an area that is a bit more modern in terms of not needing these degrees. You can't really say waltz up to a job as a sports scientist and say you're self-taught. To like, you'd be
yeah.
one in a
No, absolutely.
million. Like, so yeah, so I understand why you would.
It's
Yeah, I just understand your decision behind thinking that it's a good thing to do for that. And as you know, like with me, I'm very probably progressive and modern in terms of education, and thinking that school is
not
a very
necessary.
very very small chunk
Yeah,
in
yeah,
your educational background. But
absolutely.
I think for your scientific type of course, it isn't needed and it's necessary. So
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, like it's. See, it's an interesting one because if you were to go down like a business route, I feel like it mightn't even be as necessary. Would it be, or would you disagree with
I
that?
think listen. All right, if we're gonna, I think we should go down this rabbit hole. I think it'll be worth it. Um, I think it'll probably start a pot, shall we say. I actually think getting a degree in commerce, BIS, they're the two main ones, really, aren't they?
They're the main business courses. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think they're a complete waste of time and a waste of money.
Why is that?
I think that one, anyone can do it. There's nothing that separates you from anything. Um, anyone can kind of walk into a commerce or BIS degree, and yes, you will learn things from it. I'm not saying you won't, but I'm saying you will learn a hell of a lot more yourself. You'll learn a hell of a lot more relevant information yourself. A lot of these courses are outdated. They're very, backward thinking. They're not forward, progressive minded courses. And at the end of it, again, it depends on who you want to work for. But I'm looking at it from, if you're one of the top companies in the world, um, where business is used. So I'm talking about, Apple, Google, Facebook, Twitter, Netflix, Airbnb, Shopify, these tech companies that would be like looking for the best business people,
Yeah.
um, a degree, one, is not needed like off the bat, and two, um, they're seen almost as like it's very cookie cutter. It doesn't show anything different about you. It doesn't show that you're special. It just shows that, yeah, you're able to go through 4 years and come out the other end with a piece of paper that says that you did this thing. But if you were thrown into the actual workforce and you were made to actually solve real world problems and understand a real life scenario, is it really going to benefit you? And a lot of the time it's not. And that's a huge problem with the education system and the business side of things. Now, like, there's certain business courses that are great. Like, if you want to be an accountant, like, it's not going to be a bad decision to do accountancy in school. Seriously, but like,
Just,
if you want to be like a project manager or product manager, like a head of an operations or head of a team, or be like even a chief operations officer, like in these exec roles, or anything high in these top companies, or you want to be a team lead in something, whether it's sales or whether it's just management things in general, which is what these courses are supposed to kind of steer you towards a lot of the time.
yeah.
uh, they're absolutely useless for a good company. They set you up to earn 50, 60 grand a year at your peak, and you're just a cog in a huge machine, and that's it. And that's all you're doing that also for, a local, like, average enough company. Like, if you're doing commerce at BIS, yeah, you're going to probably get into like a support role at a tech company, and you might max out at a manager of a support team in that tech company.
I have a question for you. If you're saying that to get into a big company like the Apples, Shopify, etc., you're saying what would you advise, or what would you think is more beneficial, or what would you say to do a course, or what are you trying to say? What are you trying to say there to get into
Well,
these roles?
I'm trying to say, like, one, BIS and commerce are two of the most like basic, like, they don't even mean anything. Like, the business information systems, what does that even mean? Like, if you ask someone who does the course, what does that mean? What does that mean you're doing? You're doing half this outdated code that isn't beneficial to anyone, and you're doing half of kind of just a lot of things that you're not doing anything good. You're touching the base on a little thing. So you come out of it like, what did I actually even do? Commerce, yeah, it's more business focused, it's more economics focused, it's more like sales. It's, you're getting into the more business side of things. But again, how is that going to actually like separate you from anyone ever? Because anyone in the world can get a commerce degree. Probably the most popular degree known to man will be a commerce degree of some sort. So, like, you're doing commerce, so is everybody else in Ireland who's like, if you look at the stats, but I'd say commerce is one of the top chosen courses along with BIS in the country, because it's for people who did business studies in school and they didn't really know anything else and they were good at it. So they'll pick between those two. And if they were good at accountancy or whatever, they probably went into the accountancy. So what I would say someone needs to do is figure out exactly what makes them tick, not just business. Like, business is so broad. It's like
Yeah,
saying to you, what, like, you like sports.
yeah, yeah,
What
yeah,
sports do you like? Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? So it's the same with business. It's like, oh yeah, I'm good at business. But what does that mean? It's like, that's saying I'm good at sports. What sports do you play? What are you actually good at in that sport?
Hmm.
So you need to figure that out. And when you figure that out, you need to knuckle down on that. So whether that's product design, UI, UX design, or whether it's code developing, back end, front end, whatever, software engineering, or whether it's more the sales side of things, or whether it's more the entrepreneurship side of things. and building a company and scaling it, or if it's into more of the tax and legal side of things, or whether it's more into the accountants. And
Yeah,
you need
no,
to
I get you.
figure out what's your path to go down, because like if you're into UI UX design or product design, degree is useless. It is. They look at a portfolio. Any company in the world look at a portfolio. They don't look at a degree usually, if it's a good company, really. Let's be honest. If you're a developer, half the time they're all self-taught developers. The best developers in the world are self-taught. Yeah, you can come out. Yeah, it could be handy to come out of a degree if, like, you didn't really know anything and you wanted that bit of guidance. But like my chief technical officer for Cambrian has no degree in
Yeah.
code, and we had a guy on who had a master's in computer science, and he was terrible. So and he came out with a 1-1, by the way, in case like he didn't, he was the best in his course.
Yeah, yeah.
So computer science is another one. Computer science is just such a broadened thing too. They touch base on everything. You should be going like, code is so big that you need to pick like what you want to do. Do you want to do front end? Do you want to do back end? Or do you want to do kind of everything and learn everything properly? Don't learn everything kind of just, oh, I know the basics, or I know the gist of it, which is
Yeah.
what the degree does at the end of the day. And yeah, if you're into like sales, entrepreneurship more, you're better off to not even go to school. You're better off to just drive on. Now, like the other thing is, like, statistically, America has more startups and more companies and things, not only just because of the population, but it's also because they've got a higher, like, they've got a lot of people in top colleges that come out of top colleges founding companies. So like there is a good thing to go to college if you don't know exactly what you want to do, but you have an idea. But like what people lose is like they'll go to college and they'll come out of college in the same place as they went in, where like just that they have a degree in their hand at this stage, which like what is the point in that? It's if you don't know what you want to do and you go to college, but you came out of college with a degree in, let's say, BIS, but you know exactly what part of business that you want to do, and you know exactly where you want to go, and you get into a company as an intern, or you figure that out, then that's a plus. Like that's a good thing. But a
Absolutely.
lot of people come out and they just don't really know what to do now, and they'll just go in as some open role that says, oh, a degree in BIS is good here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah. No, question for you.
yeah.
What courses do you actually think are worth doing? What out of like if you were to look at courses there in Cork or Ireland,
Well,
what do you
like
think?
again, like a course could be worth doing for anyone if they don't really know what they want to do
Yeah,
with their
yeah,
lives.
I suppose, yeah,
So like it's just, if you know what you want to do, but you're just doing this thing because you were decent at business. So like I'm just going to do BIS and I've no idea. I'm not even passionate about business. You just kind of have this half-hearted interest into it. Like you're just wasting your time there. You're going to travel down a rabbit hole, come out of it with a
yeah,
degree,
yeah.
and it's nothing. But like I
That's
think
what yeah, yeah. Go on, finish.
no,
Yeah,
I just think like a degree then is obviously necessary in a sports orientated course or like
yeah,
something like that, where they're very beneficial because it's a lot of hands-on stuff as well.
yeah,
And it's just very good. But I do think there's a lot of courses um, that people just do because they don't really know what else to do, and then they just either drop out or they come out with a degree, and it's just like, what was the
yeah.
point? What are you going to do now?
Yeah, because you made me think of it there while you were chatting now. On like like doing entrepreneurship or something. It's very it's interesting like the fact that you're going to like cover like an on like to get like isn't there an entrepreneurship college course? Isn't there like something?
There's one up in I think Galway maybe, but I might be wrong in that. But
Yeah.
like again, that's a waste.
Yeah, do you know? I'm just thinking, like, isn't that your whole like thing though? Like, you're finding the gap in the market to work on. What like what's the point in going for a
Yeah,
degree?
exactly.
Scholarship?
Like
Yeah,
anyone that has a course that's like based on like
something you do yourself, or
something, yeah, like anything that's based
uh,
on something that you develop yourself, like design, art, like
yeah,
product development, coding to a certain extent, or entrepreneurship is the biggest one. Like if there's a course on entrepreneurship, like whoever decided that that was a good idea is absolutely off the rocker. Because like it's entrepreneurship is this thing that just happens in someone and it's not really explained at the start. It's just like an idea will pop into a head. You'll travel down that rabbit hole to kind of figure out if that idea is worth pursuing, and you come out the other side. It's not something that's like taught or um, like that you can plan or teach.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
It's like art, like doing like art and design and stuff. Like, it's quite interesting like that. You like what is actually? I know you're big into art and stuff. Yeah, I actually never asked you this because I never asked anyone who like did art or anything. But like, you're going to an art school because you're good at art. Are you learning more stuff about art, or
a lot of the
do
time, it's just, yeah. A lot of the time,
I never understood that.
if you're doing fine art anyway, a lot of the time it's just like you're given these 4 years to do art. That's it.
Yeah, no, because
That's all
I
you're.
thought that, because when you look at our school, for example, like the kids who were like, well, back when I was in school, anyway, the kids who were actually good at art, they weren't taught anything. You know what I mean? They were just like, all right, yeah, you're decent, just work away there and you get your A or whatever. That's literally it. Like, there's a fella in my head in particular who went to our college, by the way. Like, I was just thinking, like, going to like doing art in school must have been, like, you know what I mean, an absolute dawdle for them, because like there's like genuine, like, naturally good, or I don't know if it's natural or they just do it at home, or it's passion of theirs, but you know
I
what I mean.
think it's.
I
I
thought
think
it
a
was good,
natural definitely plays into it. Like, because like
mm,
I'm trying to get a H1 like in art.
yeah,
And like my dad went to art college, and the dad before it, like my granddad got the highest art grade in this country. So
yeah, yeah.
like it obviously
It's
runs through. Yeah,
genetic.
it must run through somehow. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, definitely. Because I never understood, like, what's the actual point in going to college. Like, this is me being like condescending. I'm just wondering, like, if you're an artist and you're going to college, are you learning more about art, or what is it that you know what I mean?
you're like most of the time you're learning more about yourself. And I know that sounds
Oh,
quite
really?
cringe,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you're
No, it's
learning
cliche,
more.
but
You're
yeah,
learning more about like what style you like and what you want to kind of go down, whether that's like graphic design or whether it's actually fine art and sculpture or whether it's painting on walls or spray paint or like what like
yeah,
different
yeah,
mediums
yeah.
and different techniques. It's more about developing that, and I think that can be actually applied to real like other colleges. I was going to say real college, like other like universities and different. And
Yeah,
if you can just figure out what you actually want, then that's a brilliant thing college can do. If college is fantastic, if you can give yourself 4 years to figure out what exactly you want to do, and you come out of it knowing what you're good at and what you want to do with that. um, but too many times people come out of college in the same way that they went in, which is
yeah.
not really knowing what they want to do with their life.
Mm.
And that's a big huge flaw, and it's a big huge waste of time, and it's a big huge waste of money. So if like you gotta figure it out, like
But sometimes that's a good thing about college. Like, if you don't know what you want to do, once you go into it, like, at least then, like, if you do it and you don't like it, you're like, okay, well, at least this isn't
well
something
that's
that
yeah,
I like. That kind of way.
yeah, it can be positive to kind of like take things off like what you definitely don't want to
Yeah,
do,
yeah, yeah,
and narrow the search, like, but you should be figuring stuff out. Like I saw this thing as well, like if you come out of college with like 1 or like 90% and things, and like you need to really reevaluate like why you actually went to college, because like you should be going to college to like learn how to like speak in front of people and how to talk and how to get
yeah, yeah,
friends and how to like build connections and learn what you're good at and try new things and learn what you're bad at and try that business or try that whatever. And figure things out, not just, oh, let's go like fit in the box mode and get all my marks right, and like that's just a waste of time.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, one second. I'm very sorry about that. My nan's staying over, and my brother called on the phone there. Sorry about that. Are you able
It's
to?
all right.
Yeah. So do you want to
I
carry on?
can, yeah, I can cut that out as well. Don't worry about
Perfect, perfect.
it. Yeah, so listen, college is definitely like a big kind of like topic, but I think to sum it up anyway, I know I went a little bit off rant and stuff with the business courses, but like if you, college is fantastic if you don't know what you want to do, but you definitely want to find out what you want to do, and you're going to give yourself these kind of 3-4 years to travel, learn new things, meet new people, and really kind of give yourself a break and like time to just learn about you. And I know that's quite cringe, but it's true. Um, College is a waste of time if you don't know what you want to do, but you're just picking this course because you were told that that's what you should do, and you travel down this rabbit hole to come out the other end, not like hating it and
Yeah.
not knowing anything, or just going into a job that you hate or that's average and you don't even like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and college then definitely is a waste of time if you're like, if you know exactly what you want to do and it's in something that you don't need a degree in, like why are you going? So
Yeah,
like,
no, absolutely. I that's something your second point there is something I completely agree with, and it's something that like was one of my biggest fears, and I suppose it was the reason that made
you were
me really
thinking about
want
not
to
doing it as well.
doing
Yeah.
something you know what I mean, doing something you absolutely hate, and every day waking up, going to work, and just not wanting to be there or do that is just like that is genuinely like a huge like
Hmm.
fear of mine. Like I want to, you want to get up like as like for like like a match or something, like a football match. If you can get up that excited every day to, you know what I mean, like go for it, like a game of ball or something. You think of a game of ball, like, oh yeah, I'm fucking ready for that. Like, but
Or like, when you get up going
yeah.
for holidays,
Yeah, oh yeah, stop.
if it's like that,
It's the
yeah.
one time I don't mind getting up at like 4 or 5 in the morning, but
I won't even go to sleep. I'm fine. Like,
yeah, absolutely. No, I completely agree with that's a very very good point. I never said it at the start, was that I was just so scared of doing something I genuinely just didn't have any interest in. And I think because I was quite fortunate that I just said I'd go down something to do with sport, because I know with this course I can literally pick and choose what I want to kind of really go down and really like within the realms of sport, that is like and it's just something like I think it was a safer bet for me. And I think no, it's just frightening to think like it's something my dad always says, you know what I mean, like do something like, all right, yeah, it doesn't matter what you do, just make sure
if
you
you love
enjoy it.
what you
Like,
do, you never work a day in your
yeah,
life.
yeah, as cliche, and like it's, you know what I mean. It's very true.
Yeah.
But getting on to you, Dave, since we were on about myself, and we were on about like courses that we found that we found kind of controversial.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
what are your goals? Because I know yours are, like I remember asking you this question. Just it was actually we just went over a stroll, and I remember chatting to you and just being like, what are your goals? And I remember you had it so laid out that here it made my heart go into my mouth, because I was like, shit, is this something I just never did or something? But see, and that's why it's good to have friends like like yourself, and that kind of you need friends that inspire you to want to be better and stuff. You know, like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
so
no. And whatever it
Jesus
is though, like,
Christ.
and
Yeah,
whatever it is
absolutely.
though,
And
like
just hearing,
it could
yeah,
be the gym, or it could be like goals in life, like it could be
yeah,
whatever, you know what I mean?
and just hearing how like you literally have everything like not everything mapped out, but you have a lot of things that you want to a lot of accolades you want to you hit, you know, in upcoming years, or even quite into the future. You quite went into depth in this. It's as if you, you wrote down in your diary like myself.
No, like
But
I do a lot
yeah.
of thinking, like,
Yeah, I know, I
um,
know. So please, yeah, like work away. Tell me what you want to do. What's the plan for
yeah,
Dave
so
Sloan?
like there's right now I'm in a stage in my life that I think not a lot of people my age, or not a lot of people in general, are kind of in, that it's very, very unpredictable.
Yeah,
And it's difficult to figure out exactly what I'm going to be doing in the next couple of months, because I think when you look at the average 18, 19-year-old coming out of secondary school, it's like there's a course there that they're going to do for 4 years, and that's their 4 years mapped out. It's like they've got this kind of four
Yeah.
years plan. I can't really plan 4 years. I know you think I have a plan for 4 years, but I have these general goals that will kind of cover everything, but the detail of which they go, I have no idea.
Hmm.
So I'll kind of lay it out like I'm an open book. I don't care what people, if people know my goals or whatever. Um, Once I just show them the results. So, but
All right.
I,
Good luck.
I know, but I think, like I started the idea of Cambrian. I started probably in October. So, yeah, October of last year, and it kind of was all in my head, kind of figuring things out, kind of working through things. And then the real stuff started to happen around Christmas time.
Hmm.
And I was talking to someone who owns a startup that are doing very well. And I told him like when I wanted to have a beta released, and I said by my birthday, and he said, "You want to be crazy to think that you're going to get that done by your birthday. Get a realistic goal, blah, 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 blah." And we released the beta there this week or last week,
Yeah.
before my birthday. Um, so I'm moving quite fast with things. The business is moving fast. We're looking to secure investment, a couple of 100,000 over the next couple of months. At a 1.6 to 1.8 million dollar valuation.
Hmm.
Um, I'm looking to go into an accelerator um, in Ireland, kind of cover my summer, um, and then I don't know. So like we're looking to hire, we're looking to bring on people, looking to grow the team, grow the company, and then like start bringing in serious revenue and hit maybe 10k MRR by January, February.
Hmm.
um and yeah, like start raise this kind of round, finish, use this for the next 12 months, and this time next year I should be in a very, very good place with raising more money, maybe like in the millions, like
Yeah. Yeah.
and growing it to a way bigger scale than what it is now, and what people probably think I'm going to be scaling it. Um, the other thing is there's a couple of different kind of things that might happen abroad. I'm looking to hopefully go to Indianapolis in August. Might have also a little detour to Miami. We'll see. Um, and then in January, um, me and you obviously were looking at Canada and New York, and I can kind of use that couple of weeks as well to have a few meetings here and there, and just kind of get things sorted over stateside, because it's all about building these kind of connections and planting these seeds in people's heads, so that if I need to go over another time, it's like, hey, I talked to you before, blah 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 blah. It's
Yeah.
not like this, oh hey man, you don't know me, but like
Yeah.
if I can get all of those you don't know me out of the way before you need to actually use them,
Hmm.
um, then it's positive. And like with college, what I should be doing is going in September and getting a degree in
Yeah.
computing and psychology. But I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. It is on my mind to defer a year, um, concentrate on, like I'm going to be having a salary, like a very, very decent salary that like most people that coming out of college don't even get, never mind before college or during college. Um, and so I'll be fine, and I'll be able to really just knuckle down
Yeah.
and you spend 12 months to buy me time. If in 12 months nothing's happening, it's not going to places, I could then decide, oh, I'll do that part time, go to college, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But
You have a few options anyway of
yeah,
I
I do. And like another thing as well, like college is quite restrictive in terms of like where you need to be. Like what happens, what happens if I need to go to New York during the middle of there's exams, or like, you know, things like that, like, or I need to go to California, I need to go to London, or I need to go to Miami, or I need to go to Toronto, or like,
Yeah, yeah.
these are things that definitely probably will be happening over the next few years. And they're going to have like to going to have everything restricted due to exams or due to like lectures or assignments or in like things like that. Like that's only a negative. So like I don't know yet with
Yeah.
that, but it's something that's definitely on my mind. I've got a few months to figure it out. I've also got a few months for the business to really show what's happening. If the business like now over the next few months is absolutely flying it, where like we've got investors, we've got a board, we've got people who are rooting for us who are important people, and we've got customers who are important customers.
Yeah.
Why would I?
It's funny you say that because I remember you asking me as well. He was like I know you were asking me like kind of more of a comedic way. Like you were saying to me like Adam, what would you advise me to do? Would you say to go to college? And obviously I said, yeah, you should go to college. But uh you this is gonna sound so like unprofessional or whatever, but I remember watching do you know the show Shark Tank? Yeah, literally I watch I know this guy, no, I'm joking, but like every time like very young, like you could see like had a lot of potential, like entrepreneur or whatever, would come on with an idea, and as soon as they'd say, oh, I'm actually doing this as a part-time, I'm in college, like the amount of times they'll say like, oh, I need someone
Back to
else.
me when it's full time.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what they say. And you know what? Think about like, depending on how the next, couple of months go, like you should definitely highly consider like even referring the year or whatever as you say. I think it's something like if that's how if you think it's inevitable that like it would, like college would be in the way of the business, hitting
Yeah.
the accolades or like
But
these
like also like
levels,
I've there's these things that are coming up as well, like very, very serious possibilities where I'll have to live somewhere else for, you know, a little while. Not like long term, but you know, a month, 2 months here and there.
Yeah,
Um like what am I gonna do if I'm in college? Like, oh yeah, there's a thing in Melbourne happening in March actually of next year. Um that I might be looking at.
yeah.
Like I have to move to Melbourne for 3 months, and what college is gonna have to defer then, and or what if it's California, or if it's the States, or like what am I gonna do then? So I have to think about it. It's not a problem for now, but it's a problem over the next couple of months. To
Yeah, exactly. And it's, seeing the response of like the beta, and as you say, the next few months is like a huge it's quite pinnacle in your kind of, I suppose, your life choices. I suppose these big choices of going to college or not going to college. And like
yeah,
I know to like a lot of people, like, oh, he's actually is he seriously not going to go to college for, but like me knowing you as long as I do know you, and like the way you are about stuff, once you're really like clued in on something, you really do give it your fucking, you do give it well, you know what I mean? It's
yeah. Like no, like
quite the
I
same,
know
but you know what I mean?
I
It's
know
true.
to like the average person, it would be absurd to not go, but that's because they're average at the end of the day. And like it's the harsh truth, like their parents went to college and their parents, like, so it's just this thing that they do, and they'll probably come out the other end wanting to, you know, I don't know, be a be a lawyer, be work in an office or whatever, and earn like their life aspiration is to have a nice BMW, you know what I mean? Like that's not what I'm going for. So
Absolutely. I learned from a young age that you don't actually have to go to college in order to be successful. Like my parents are living proof of that, and um,
there's people
and I
that
know,
live in proof for that everywhere.
yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? I think there's everyone knows someone in their family that didn't go to college, and you know what they, you know what I mean? They turned out
My
completely
dad's
fine
my
without
dad's
them.
working for Shopify, right? One
Yeah,
of the like they're worth I think 150 billion or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Billion, by the way, would be like, and like he's like very like not he's obviously not an exec role like, but he's quite high up. Didn't he dropped out of art school? So like, come on.
And that's the thing about, like, I feel like a lot of like the businesses now, like Shopify and Apple, as you say, like they kind of you were on about, like, about the degrees and stuff. Like, they do look at the person a lot more than the actual paper when it comes to the very big successful like businesses, as you were saying, like, when
When I'm hiring, I look at like the person more.
yeah,
We recently brought on a guy, and I didn't ask him about
what
his a degree once. It came up naturally that, oh yeah, he did computer science, but like I didn't care about that. I cared about who he was.
yeah, yeah. No, I think that's a good way to go about a business, because especially like how like like this, how it's small at the moment, and you're able to look at the people yourself, and that, you know what I mean. It's it's a good way of like having the business to like progress through that way as well. That you're looking
Yeah,
through the person and at what they could bring to it, instead of what their degree tells them they could bring to it. Yeah, no, it's a
degree.
I get
Anyone
you.
can do a degree. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
like something that we'd use with hiring is like we want to find kind of little glimpses of like something different about them. Like, oh, they maybe took a different career choice, or they went off on a different path, and they, tried something different, or they, whatever it could be, that could be like a hint that they could be like very good at something, it
Yeah.
like, but by someone being cookie cutter, like, what does that mean?
Yeah, like they pull out like a fucking Jesse Lingard there, like for West Ham there, just have that little glimpse about
Yeah, yeah,
it. Jack Wilshere back in 2009.
yeah, diamond in the dust
A
type
diamond in the
stuff.
rough. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. I think that's a very good way of looking at employing as well, because it's something, everyone will have to go through a kind of an interview and stuff, and sometimes they kind of just look at the what you have on it, instead of actually looking at the person in front of them.
yeah.
And my mom was always saying that to me, you know what I mean, like, and that's why she'd always like advise people to go for the degree, because like 9 times out of 10 they're going to look at like what you did in college and whatever. But like, as you say, those businesses like the Apples and the Shopify's, and they look at the person, and obviously I suppose that's the reason why they excel in their fields. Maybe it's a huge, I think
It is the
that would
people.
be
The
a big
people
factor.
make the people make the company. So
Yeah,
like, it's how you hire the people.
yeah,
Um, yeah, 100%. So yeah, like that's kind of my plan at the moment. My current plan is sort out the beta, get it out for paying customers, and raise money. Um,
yeah.
that's the current agenda, and then bring more people onto the team, have everyone full time, and just full steam ahead.
Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah,
think that's you're looking at it quite logical as well. It's really cool seeing, like, as someone from like from a friend's point of view, like just seeing like the behind the scenes of how it's slowly progressing each time. You know what I mean? Like, literally, like, if I just look back in the last couple of months, like when you were first hiring the first person, and you started hiring the second person, and even to the people you were even just having meetings with, like, you'd start off with this person, and then it's slowly like even the
the
people you
caliber of people
yeah,
is
what I
it's.
mean?
I didn't even think about that actually.
Yeah,
Like, I
no,
was
it's
having
it's
meetings with
stepping
people from
stones. Yeah,
like I was having meetings with people who have their own businesses from like UCC back in January, but now I'm having meetings with like Paddy Cosgrave or Pat
yeah,
Phelan or
yeah, absolutely. You know
you
what I mean?
know
And like, just looking at it from, like, you know what I mean, just a fly on the wall. It's quite, it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, just seeing you, a person who I've been friends with for years. You know what I mean? Just seeing, you just come along very nicely, and it's just great seeing you do something that you really do love. Like, you just had a huge, passion for technology and sport. I suppose that's the reason we're friends. You know what I mean? To like the sport and that.
mm,
It'd be a a reason, I suppose, like, or a friend group back in the day and whatever. But and just seeing you bring two of those things together, you know what I mean? Like, it's and just seeing you with these two things, sport and technology, and bring them together, is like it's like perfect, you know what I mean, for you. It's just so tailor
Yeah,
made
it's
for
it's
you.
I'm kind
It's
of just creating my own dream job, like.
exactly, and you're doing something you love. And here, look, if it does nothing at the end of the day, at least you've learned so much. Like just even hearing you speak about business and like the amount of research you're after putting in, even just like starting, like you know a lot more than people who are teaching entrepreneurship or in a school, because you've been there and done that. You know what I mean? You've started a setup. You did it. You did a startup company. You've hired people. That stuff like people in their 30s
Fired
and
people.
40s have never done. You know what I mean? Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really cool. No, it's yeah. That's so I suppose, you know what I mean. You're walking the walk now, I suppose. So gotta
Yeah,
you gotta keep doing it.
I gotta keep
You
walking the
gotta
walk.
keep it after this podcast anyway. Everyone will think you're either a wanker or they'll be like, show up. They've got a point there. You know
Or
what I mean?
they'll come back in a few years and say, where did he end up? And I'm nowhere, or
Yeah,
I'm
you're just
somewhere.
doing fucking heroin on the side of fucking Paul Street. No, but you know what I mean. It's funny. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so like I think to kind of finish things up, like the good thing about this is just, no, it's not, the point of it wasn't to get people to figure out what our goals and aspirations were, but it's
No,
just
yeah,
to
just
kind of make it it's to make it like a normal thing to talk about, and not this
absolutely.
cliche kind of, or not this like taboo subject.
Yeah,
Like it's okay to think big or to have dreams or have goals, and to verbalize them and go after them.
absolutely. I completely agree with you. And I think that's the good thing about our friendship is like whenever we'd go out like for a chat now, it would be quite, we would go into like detail about like, specific things compared to like, like an average conversation. I don't know what the fucking average conversation is, but from what I look at it, like from my own personal experiences talking to other friends and whatever, you know what I mean? It's just kind of the same kind of thing you kind of speak about, like whether it's football or, something in a match. When we'd have a chat, we'd really like try and like broaden each other's horizons. Is that what
Yeah.
we'd say? That's the right
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
wording. Yeah. Yeah, but that's and it's something that I feel, I think when people listen to this, like when my cousin does anyway, like he thinks it's he always thinks me that start, he would like if we had a topic we'd speak about, like he'd come up to me and say what he thinks of it, and it's good because he's thinking it, and that's the whole point of this. You know what I mean? I feel
That's
it's
exactly it. Yeah.
and that just makes you fucking think, it's worth doing.
Yeah,
But yeah,
exactly.
that's the size of it. Yeah.
Yeah, so Adam, thanks very much.
Cheers,
Everyone, thanks
Dave.
for listening. I'll see you later.
Good luck.